Okay. Right. Is there anybody there? Yeah. Hello. All right. Let's just wait a little bit more. Hey, George. Hello, Mayara. Hey, Anastasia. Hey, Livy. All right. All right. So let's just wait for, I guess, a minute or so, and then we'll start. And I'm actually waiting for my colleague as well, Anna. She should be around here in a minute. Hey, Andre. Right. So you all can hear me, right? Can you? Okay. Well, that's a good start. All right. All right. Let's give it 30 more seconds, and then we'll start. Right. Actually, since we have these 30 seconds, um, if at any point you have any questions, well, feel free to write them down over there. The only thing is that if they are technical, um, I'm not the best person to ask. So if they are technical, and we'll be kind of covering our support on the session as well, but it will be much better if you address it to support people because their answer will be much more descriptive. But still write them down, and we'll make sure to forward them to it and then getting back to you with an answer. Okay. Session, no, actually, George, this session is actually more about kind of the very general vision and like the overview of the platform. So won't have any technical things inside there. It's more about like people to actually realize what they're building and kind of trying to see how they can actually build their first scenario from, so to say, from start to finish, and more about very general things. So we're not going to be stopping on IVR, at least not at this session. There should be another one for that. All right. Right. So I guess I'll start without my colleague. Well, hello everybody. Hello again. My name is Ilya, Director of Business Development at Vox Implant. And well, first of all, I'm very happy that you're all here. And today's session will be actually very relaxed. And I was advised not to kind of, use any slides because everybody's tired of slides. And so it won't be technical, nor it will be kind of sales pitchy, if you know what I mean. Instead of that, we'll just sit down and kind of have this conversation of where do you even start with Vox Implant? Because well, many people kind of have their own ideas on it, and Vox Implant is so huge, and it actually can do so many things that it can get overwhelming. So we will try to cut through that and just have a general conversation over on like how do you use it in a way to actually start and launch your project as quick as possible, instead of just playing around with it and having no result at all. So let's start with what's Vox Implant anyway. And we like to say that Vox Implant is it's a serverless cloud communications platform as a service for embedding all types of communication between customer and a company. But what does it actually mean? And it means that chances are you represent some sort of company, and at some point your company might start to think that they need to step their kind of customer success or customer service game up. And there are so many ways to do that. And for different companies, there will be different scenarios of doing so. So, for example, you might have a website, and you just want to make the most out of every person that kind of visits your website, and you don't want to use these leads due to some human error factor or anything like that. And that is when you implement LPA, which is lead processing automation. So basically, people come to your website, they fill some form, and they get forwarded to the call agent, for example, right away. And also, you keep all this data for your usage later on and stuff like that. Or in other scenario, you might be representing a taxi company, and you don't want for taxi drivers to get the real numbers of clients that call them directly, right? So this is where you use phone number masking. And obviously, apart from just that, you also can record these calls, you can transcribe them. And so these are the communication logics, and there are hundreds of them actually. And it is very important. And the reason I'm starting with this is that it's very important to actually understand first what is it that you're actually building. Once you do that, and once you kind of agree on what do you need, it actually comes in very easy after that. And another way of kind of realizing it, what would help you the most is if you go on our website and search for products and solutions. And over there, we actually have different sections for different industries, which might spark some ideas. But yeah, this is very crucial because if you don't have this idea of what is it that you're actually building, you'll be just blown away by all the options over there, and none of them would be none of them would help to you in your specific case. Just wanted to make sure that this is very clear. And let's just dive to the actual control panel. I'll kind of give you a very brief introduction in where everything's placed and where would you start, and and stuff like that. So let me just enable screen sharing. Yeah, there we go. Well, I hope you can see my screen. Can you actually just put a plus sign if you can? Just let me know. Okay, perfect. Okay, yeah, thank you. Right, so that's the dashboard. That's the main window of each account. And you guys, some of you have already registered on the platform, and you will see it. So on the left-hand side, we have all these materials, how-tos and stuff like that. Gonna be talking about that later on, and there is a very good reason why is it right there. Over here, the platform status, operational, recent activities on your account, all listed here, and billing. But billing over here is more like an kind of overview billing, because over there inside the inside the platform there is a proper billing sections, very detailed. Okay, so that's that. Pretty self-explanatory, and obviously active sessions will be here, but I don't have any. Right, and so everything, like the whole work, starts right here. So what do we have? Well, let's yeah, okay. So we have applications. Applications is super important section, and we're going to be talking about that kind of in more later on. Then calls, numbers, your billing, just as I said, and it's much more descriptive over here. Settings is for whenever you are kind of get used to the system more, and you might want to customize it in a way that suits you best. Support, oh, that's your support. And marketplace, and gonna be talking about that a bit later on. But normally I would say that start with application, because you would have to create an application before you write any scenarios. But recently we had a couple cases, and that makes me kind of change it, and I would say start with verification, and that's in numbers. So obviously, in majority of scenarios that has to do with phone numbers, you can rent numbers from our system, and they are all sorts of countries over there, and obviously can be any. But you do it through pushing this button right here, buy a new number, and then obviously you can choose between test numbers, which is Gotham City, or the real, yeah, and these are all free. These are for testing purposes, and the real numbers. And obviously we have the majority of countries here, but the rules for these between the countries, they differ. So in majority of cases, you would have to have a verification, which says right here, valid address required for locations. They can be different, but you need to make sure that you validate your account between between kind of the start and the launch phases, because you might end up in a situation where, for example, you build your scenario and you're ready to go, and the deadline is today, and you realize that your number is not verified, so obviously you won't be able to run it. You would have to wait for a couple more days for the validation to finish, and you don't want to be in that situation. So just start with validation, start with the numbers, and then you have all the time in the world to do everything else. So that's numbers. Again, obviously blacklist over here. All your phone numbers will be here. Well, I've bought one. Well, I've rented one. It's in here. That's the button to buy the new number. Again, you can use yours. That's not a problem too. Right. You don't have to buy any numbers. That's just if you want to. So that's numbers. The billing section, it's actually oh, that's my balance. And actually, guys, I'm pretty sure, I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure that after this session, we'll be dropping some test money on your accounts just for you to, log in and play around. So, but that's a good add-on, So anyway, over here, well, you just manage your money through here. So you make payments, all your verification documentation will be here. Subscription plans, payment history, transactions. So obviously, in here, you will get all the information, like what you've been charged for, when we have charged that, why that many, or why not so many. Obviously, all this information, like the history, the spending breakdown, you will have the full breakdown. So it will be right here. The rates too. Actually, if you click on the rates, our website will open up, and it will take you directly to the rate section right here. So I'll let it load. Yeah, so obviously to the website, and you can again compare the prices and stuff like that. So that's that's your billing. Again, transaction details, and you can obviously export in many different formats too. So that's billing. Settings, as I've said, I'm not going to stop too much here because it has to do with customizations and stuff like that, with caller IDs, notifications, and it's all like, personal preferences. So no point really. Marketplace, this is the place where some of the scenarios have been already done for you, and you can actually install it and play around with it. And actually, if you click on more, it gives you a brief description on what is it all about. For example, programmable callback or the Dialogflow connector. It's already here. It also says what you need to actually have it working. So sandbox phone number, one scenario, one rule. And so that's that. So that's a good. And we are actually working on putting more into marketplace, just to make sure that we cover as much as possible. And so that's that. And then to calls, before we're going to be talking about applications. And this is super important section. And the reason is once you start to actually make calls, it will have all the call logs right here. And why do you want to kind of have this overview of call logs? The reason is it holds all this information, what happened on the call, whether people just hang up or there was loss of connection, anything like that. Or for example, if you use the IVR tech, and for some reason the customer said one thing, but the IVR understood something else, which can happen, not very often, but still can happen. And then obviously you'll be able to track it down right here. What was the reason why it went obviously wrong, and also you can export in CSV. So all this happens in the calls, and call logs will be here, and also like the active sessions. If you will be in the middle of the campaign, it will be here, right? So calls, very important. So now to applications. And there they are. And actually, let's actually, you know, I've mentioned this case with taxi company, and let's just try to kind of see. Oh, hold on a second. Oh. The CSV format, well, obviously I've got nothing to export in here. If I would, then obviously by pressing on CSV, you will have the CSV report. Actually, if you want to, I can send you one as an example, just one of the CSV reports of some sort. But yeah, I've got nothing to report, unfortunately. Sorry, Ashtosh. Right. Yeah, let's come back to applications. And then obviously you would start a new one. Let's go with new one, really new one, and create one. And actually, let's investigate what's in there. It looks like this, right? So obviously this is where you start. You have your code history, pretty self-explanatory. You have your scenarios. This is where all these communication logics are getting applied. Users, yeah, well, obviously no scenarios. Users, numbers that you've rented or your own, they are all here. The routing rules, which is basically like the bread and butter of your scenario, because obviously you want to connect your numbers to your scenarios and apply some routing and queue rules. And this is where it actually starts working. Push certificates, Dialogflow connector, if it has one, etc. And actually, some people create their applications and they don't know where to start. And actually, let's go back to the main window. And this is the reason why this section is right here, because we have invested loads of time and effort into creating a very descriptive how-tos articles. And let me just tell you what is it exactly. So over here in the tutorial section, you have many cases already described. So for example, phone number masking or call center tutorial or audio conferencing or video conferencing, any of these. And if you click on the one that you want to build, these will give you both the breakdown, like where to start, how to proceed, why would you want to do one, and stuff like that. It will give you the breakdown of how it will look like, what you need, and stuff like that. And more than that, it will give you the scenario code that you can actually copy, and this would be the perfect starting point. So if we'll go back to the really new one, and then we'll go to scenario. And obviously we want to create one scenario, a new one, and I'll just paste it right here. And well, this will give you a very, very good starting point. So over here you have all these descriptions, obviously well, the number for in this specific case, since it's like a showcase, it will be 1 2 3 4 5 etc. But it will give you the actual breakdown of what's inside, and then you start to work with this and customize it and write some more and make sure that it's working and it's well, it serves your purposes. So it is very important whenever you are stuck, you can they are getting they are broke down over here by voice, video, messaging, and actually the whole section for docs. It's very big. And 9 times out of 10, any of the questions or any of the technical questions as well that has to do with programming and JavaScript, they will all get answered in here. These how-tos, they're very big. So again, you can choose a Vox engine and get all this information about how to use the session logs, how to debug scenarios, and stuff like that, and all with actual examples. So it's not just some text, but they will actually take you through the process, and at the very end, well, there's a good chance that it will be solved. So my advice would be that once you realize, once you realize with what you're looking to do, and then just go through the how-tos and see what says in there, because that might be just the perfect guide that will guide you through the whole process. And once that's done, what you want is you want to test it, because you don't want to launch it before testing it. So you test it with some Gotham City numbers, so you test it in the sandbox, see what's wrong, what's working, what's not working, fix it, and then launch the campaign. And to be honest with you, that's that. If you kind of work on that logic, and you go from step to step, then this is how you kind of launch it. So just to recap, first of all, you want to verify your documents, then think about the scenarios for your specific case, then, well, find the developer, but actually you might be okay yourself, to be honest with you. Well, it looks kind of complicated, but first of all, it's JavaScript, and well, the majority of people are kind of good with JavaScript, well, developers at least, and so try it yourself or find a developer to do it. Then obviously you code your scenario, you put some money in, you run the number, you connect the scenario to that number, then you run some tests, fix if something's not working, and then you launch. And just keep an eye on the logs in calls and the billing in case you need to top up your plans. And to be honest with you, that's that. Let me just switch that off. How we can set up the IVR, right? Yeah, actually, it's not simple. Again, depends on the cases for like your specific case, whether it's outbound or inbound campaigns. But briefly, are you familiar with Dialogflow, Mayara? Did you ever work with Google Dialogflow? Right. Actually, we are going to have a kind of a webinar on that. But what's Google Dialogflow, right? This is like a document. Like let's see it as engine, right? Engine for the IVR. So all the sophisticated or not so sophisticated rules that will happen, and the logics, they are getting put in this Dialogflow scenario, right? And then you just upload it. There is like a JSON file. You just upload it, and that's pretty much it. Also, you can ask us to do it for you. Well, maybe there are still some of your input will be needed, but let me tell you one thing. When it comes to IVRs and Vox Implant, well, we are working and IVRs and natural language processing and sound and synthesis and voice and recognition and stuff like that. We are, well, first of all, we are the only official Google Dialogflow partners in the industry. So we are official partners. And secondly, we work with the majority of top tech solutions in the world. There are actually a few providers of different, voices and different kind of voice recognition engines, and if they are proven to be good, we are working with these people, and you can set it up inside our platform. So for example, if you want the voice to get recognized by one vendor, and then you want different voice, which is kind of a commodity of different vendor, you can have two inside our system. Probably that sounded a little bit not so briefly and easy, but yeah, if you want to learn more about that, soon, I guess in a week or so, we will have another session, or we can schedule actually a TC between each other, and I'll show you how it works. That's actually another way to do it. And actually, yeah, guys, if you want to, speak with some of our team members and, schedule a session to actually go through your specific cases, or ask, us to show how some of this actually works with calling to your number, and you're actually experimenting with it and actually trying it out, just let us know. Again, we are always happy to do that. Okay. Well, actually, Mayara, actually, I can contact you after this session. I'm sure we have your email, so I'll follow you up and we'll see how it goes, okay? All right. Ashutosh, well, what kind of services do you mean? Do we work in India? Yes. Do you mean something specific? Yeah. As far as I know, yeah. See, my kind of area is outside of India, but I'm sure that we do. I can recheck for you again if you want to. Do you have something specific in mind? Do you have some sort of campaign that you are looking to launch, or what? Why do you asking? Yeah, sorry everybody. Just right. And the phone that okay. Okay, well, let's do that. I will follow you up after this session too, and if you can tell me a bit more about that, perhaps we'll schedule a call as well, and we see how we can help you out on that project. Okay? Sure. Well, my email is it's that. So yeah, guys, if any of you need some, need anything really, just give me a shout. All right, you're welcome, George. So that's that for today. Well, I hope all this became a little bit kind of more, well, kind of, under kind of easier to grasp, because I remember, well, when I started out, everything, was kind of seemed to be a little bit too much. But when I look at it right now, it is a lot. But actually, as long as you know exactly what you are building, well, we've made this whole journey as smooth as possible. And then again, if any questions or anything, just let me know, or me or any of my colleagues. Okay. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Well, thank you so much. You make sure you have a great rest of the day, and well, make ssure to play around with Box Implant a little bit more, and I'm sure you'll be okay. If anything, just give me a shout. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for coming. All right. All right, Anastasia. All right. Bye now. Bye bye.